You know, there was this one group of people. They were in a class, a pottery class, and there was an experiment kind of done. The experiment was they were going to divide the class into two sections, like split it right down the middle. And to one side of the class, the instructor said, you are going to be judged based on the quantity of things that you produce. So use your pottery skills and make as many things as you can. Your grade is going to be based on that. To the other side, he said, you're going to be judged based on the quality of things you produce. So you have to produce the tippy top, the very best, produce that, and you'll be graded accordingly. So what was the end result of this? We're going to kind of scrap the idea of grades, but what happened? So what happened was the people who produced quantity, they put out more quantity of work than the others. They produced the best work. So the people who are kind of paralyzed with making sure they weren't having any flaws, they couldn't do anything wrong, they had to do it perfect, they got inside of their heads and they ended up producing hardly anything, and it was of less quality. Whereas the other group, they knew it was easy. They didn't have to worry about failures, they didn't have to worry about fractures, they didn't have to worry about hairline, errances. They didn't have to worry about doing it perfectly. They were making things that they were instructed to make. But as they were doing it, they were just doing it as quickly as they could. They were keeping their hands busy. And as they were doing it, they were naturally learning from their experiences. They were learning from their faults. They were learning and growing as they were producing. And so the people who produced the most actually produced the best as well. You see, if we approach the things that we have in our life with the same approach, that doesn't mean we just try to do as fast as we can. But at the same time, if we approach it with a fearlessness and a confidence that we just learn from our mistakes instead of dragging them behind us like a weight on our back, if we can learn and approach things that way, then we're not only going to produce more fruit, but we're also going to produce better fruit, especially if we're led by the Spirit of God, who can help us to keep that creative mindset in our approach to everything. So as you are doing this applies to any field that you're in. It applies to business, it applies to ministry, it applies to relationships. Do it unafraid and unabashed, but do it considerately. And do it with gentleness and wisdom and with the leading of the Holy Spirit, because as He leads you and as you keep your hand to the proverbial plow, your classes that you're teaching are going to go better. Your coaching is going to go better. You're going to learn faster and easier. Things are going to be more graceful as far as what you're putting your hands to. Now, this might not refine your character or something like that. But you see, while I used to deal with analysis paralysis, so to speak, I was afraid to make an error. I was afraid to fail. While I did deal with that, I learned this facet, but here's the thing I want to end on. While I knew this for years, I found out that it was threaded through almost every part of my life, my decision making, my approach to schooling, my approach to learning a new trade, my approach to learning a new field, my approach to almost everything. I would almost drag my feet going into it, trying to make sure that I knew everything I could before I attempted the work. And I don't think it's bad to do research before you try to execute, but at the same time, start learning with your hands alongside your head and your heart. Start learning with your hands as much as you can, because I believe that's how we were actually made to learn, by practice. And so anyway, whatever you are working on, do it with your whole heart and do it fearlessly as much as you're able. Do it with respect, but not with shame or fear. And so as you do, again, it'll go graceful, it'll be quicker, and I believe in the end it'll be better, because you're doing it with more of a creator's mindset instead of a fearful servant who's afraid of failing their master. So whatever you're doing, do it, but get after it, church. I look forward to seeing what you're able to produce with a new whole mindset. Bless you guys. Talk to you later.